On today's Cardinals squad show, should the Cardinals starters play in the finale? Will the Cardinals win the NFC West for the first time in a decade? Who's under the most pressure to succeed this year? And Trey Hendrickson is available. Should the Arizona Cardinals make a play? That and much more on this edition of Locked On Cardinals Squad Show.
Rise up, Red Sea. It's the Cardinals Squad. Sponsored by Game Time. Everything Arizona Cardinals every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the Valley of the Sun. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Gear up and squad up. The Cardinals Squad Show starts now.
What is up, and welcome into the Cardinals Squad Show. My name is Benjamin Garcia, host of the Ben Garcia Show on YouTube's, as well as a credentialed Arizona sports media member. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals Squad Show your first listen here on this beautiful Wednesday. Don't forget the Locked On Cardinals Squad Show is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. So click that follow or subscribe button to do what thousands of other Cardinals fans have already done. Become an everydayer and get locked on to the Cardinals right here each and every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season truly is right around the corner. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now. Joining me, as always, from your regularly scheduled Locked On Cardinals programming, Alex Clancy, and former ASU football alum and 7-year NFL offensive lineman, and still Super Bowl 51 champion.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Jamil
51.
Douglas. What's up, guys? How are we doing? Dude, I did not realize you were part of that 28-3 comeback. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Crazy.
I mean, that's actually a pretty crazy story. I'd never put the two and two together. However, not the Locked On Patriot Squad Show or the Falcons Squad Show. It is the Cardinals Squad Show. Last week, the Cardinals got absolutely dominated in a preseason game where, let's call it what it is, the Broncos played, their second guys as well, but played them a little bit longer than what the Cardinals did. They pretty much waved the white flag, throwing Clayton Tune into the mix. And it's kind of got the talk around of if the Cardinals will play their starters this week. Should they, especially after shellacking that you took? Do you just feel like you need to get some sort of momentum? Clancy, I'll start with you. Should the starters play this week?
No, they should. This is stupid that we're still talking about this. Here's the thing. This is what happened. Jamil said it very succinctly last week. They already know. Yeah. They already know. And if you know 51 of the 53, then chill the hell out and let everybody else play. Like, this is what it looks like when you run it back on offense. That's what it looks like. We talked about this last week. Nothing should change. They should be chilling, proverbially drinking their Mai Tais, waiting a couple weeks, and then going to play football week one. Like, there is nothing they need to figure out. Either this offense is going to work or it won't. And it's not a matter of talent. It's not a matter of anything. It's a matter of, can Kyler Murray and Drew Petzing figure it out? The Clayton Tune experience is going to be gross again for another 60 minutes because they ain't got anybody else. They haven't called me to play quarterback for the second half. Like, it's what it's going to be. It's going to be boring. It's going to be gross. It shows the mockery that is kind of preseason football at times. That's with the ultimate respect of everybody who is playing, trying to earn a paycheck with the Cardinals or otherwise, going somewhere else, practice squad or across the NFL, because it is important for the men who are playing on Saturday, just not necessarily for the Arizona Cardinals' future in 2025.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we're going to see – I'd be shocked, actually, if we saw the starters or anyone that's considered a starter playing, and even Jacoby Brissett. I'd be shocked if we saw Jacoby out there. So, like I said, they've shifted their focus now at this point in training camp to the New Orleans Saints, and everything is being poured into what week one is going to be and making sure that they're 1-0. So the roster is locked in. There's very few times in the last preseason game, unless you're talking about, your bottom 2 or 3 guys that are competing for a spot, there's very few times that the position battle is still going on during the third preseason game. So I just think it's preseason's honestly after the second game, it's over. And now it's time to get ready for week one.
Yeah, but isn't a part, and this is again, me playing devil's advocate in the chat, is don't you feel like there's a part of getting ready for the New Orleans Saints is going out there one more time, dress rehearsal style? People do this like Before your wedding, you have a dress rehearsal. Before your first game of the season, why not have a dress rehearsal out there, even if they just run out for a series? What is the harm that could be done? Like if Harrison goes out there
Football.
and blows out his what's up?
They're playing football.
Yeah. The only way you know they're not going to get hurt in week 3 is if they don't play in week 3.
Yeah.
That's the only way you know. Like, this is not okay. So say Marv runs one route and he doesn't get targeted. It's like, okay, was that worth it? These are like the baked in ease of this conversation is that they're playing New Orleans week 1. If they were playing Cincinnati on the road, or if they were playing San Francisco on the road or something like that, we could have more of like an adult conversation about this. I do the whisper thing as kind of a joke, but really that's how simple this is. Sit them, put them on ice. It's going to be 3 weeks. Everybody's going to be rusty, but they're playing pretty much, a team that is more than likely going to have the number 1 pick in 2026. So it is a perfect scenario for the Cardinals to do just this. It doesn't complicate it. There's no devil's advocate that's really needed in the sense that it's like they have all their starters. Will Johnson was practicing today. So it's interesting that maybe he might play if he's a little bit behind the curve when it comes to playing, the CB, if Max Milton's got that role solidified. But dude, like the overthinking about what happened this past Saturday night is just fandom in a nutshell. And I think that's really all it is.
Yeah.
So there's not really, so Jamil, this is for you. There's nothing you could do more at this point to be more prepared in a preseason game for the New Orleans Saints.
No. What is the purpose of training camp?
Well, you can't simulate real game speed in training camp. You know that better than anyone.
You can't simulate let me tell you something. The preseason and the regular season speed are completely different as well. And so there is no, let's trot them out there this week and get them ready for the Saints. They're not going to play. I expect very few ones on anybody's team to be playing this week. I just feel like you don't gain anything from this. You go out there and you have a good drive. Okay, well, hey, you could have got that done in practice versus your defense, who is pretty good. So I'd rather get the work in practice. It's not like they have scrubs on both sides of the ball. It's the whole iron sharpen iron thing. Keep it in-house and get ready for week 1.
I would agree with you guys, but I do see the argument to be made when it comes to being ready. But with Clancy, when Clancy said a second ago, the only way you know that they're not getting injured is that if they don't play. And I kind of just side with that at this point as well, because let's say Marv does pull a hamstring. Is he going to be ready in 2 weeks? No. You don't really want to deal with that right now. So I would get that. But here's the more interesting topic, though. Are you surprised they haven't signed another quarterback outside of Clayton Tune? Because I do think, and Jamil, you could speak to this. Yes, this game doesn't matter. However, it does feel like there's like a sign of respect to players that know that they're not making this roster to put good game film out there and send some quarterback out there that isn't Clayton Tune. Because as I mentioned before, 56 passing yards in that game. Jacoby Brissett played 2 series and had 57 passing yards. He is an abomination at the quarterback position. Do you roll Jacoby out there for long enough? Or does it really not matter that much? Can you roll out, whatever the hell Clayton Tune is as a quarterback and just tell the guys to go fend for themselves who are trying to put tape to go get a job elsewhere?
No, Clayton Tune is going to be the guy that we see play. This game is going to be it's going to be what we hate about the preseason. And it's going to be slow. There's going to be penalties. There's going to be, timeout. Like, it's just going to be one of those games that we're not going to enjoy watching. But I'm not surprised they haven't signed a third quarterback. And the reason why is because I think they're telling you cut and clear what their plan is. It's to keep 2 quarterbacks. We're good rolling into the season with Kyler Murray and Jacoby Brissett. If we needed after the performance last week, if we thought we were going to keep 3 quarterbacks, we would have brought somebody else in that we felt like was going to be better than what we saw. So the plan is to keep two quarterbacks, and they're showing us with how they've operated, allowing Clayton Tune to keep playing.
Yeah, I mean, look at it this way: if Jacoby Brissett and Kyler Murray get hurt, the season's over anyways. So it doesn't really matter. Like you're not going to bring in. You could trade for Jameis. You want to have that experience. You could see if Ryan Tannehill's still up. Jamil's got his number. Like, I mean, it's like, what are we doing? Kyler's most likely going to be fine. If he's not, Jacoby Brissett can spot start. This is the biggest indicator as to why the Cardinals need to not put their starters anywhere near it. Walter Nolan is now put on the PUP designated to return list, okay? So he's going to miss some time. That is the worst thing that has happened this offseason for the Cardinals, and that's not terrible. You look at the Bengals, they lost 2 offensive linemen, including their starting center. Like, serious things happen in this game in practice, let alone any sort of game with refs and scores and a scoreboard or and a running clock. Like, run the clock out. It's going to be boring as hell for us. Who cares? Week 1, let's rip. Like, that's kind of where we're at. And, yeah, it's going to be terrible Saturday night. It's going to be bad.
Yeah.
But you can ask so many different ways on if they need to do something for Saturday night. It's all going to be ugly. It's going to be gross, and nobody's going to remember 3 weeks from now.
Yeah. I've been in the last preseason games plenty of times.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes it's been for drive and I've known I'm good, but sometimes I've played until there's 3 zeros on the clock. And if you are playing when there's 3 zeros on the clock, that is your sign that tomorrow morning you're going to get a phone call. So this is what the last preseason game has always been. It doesn't change. People have kind of figured out a way to navigate it being 3 games instead of 4 games. So they get their work in, they get the joint practices to supplement for a game. But this 3rd preseason game, none of the starters are going to be out there for a reason. And it's because I guarantee they've been working on New Orleans this week of practice, and the guys that are playing in the game this upcoming weekend have been doing the preseason stuff. So it's I'm not expecting to see any of the starters out there or anyone in the 2 deep.
We kind of mentioned quickly that Walter Nolan injury too. I want to get everyone's kind of opinion on that. But is this feel like Darius Robinson all over again, and to the point where you have to be better prepared for it this time? And you are more prepared for it last year or this year than you were last year. But could you expect another body to be able to go on that line, or is Cardinals just rolling it out with Dalvin Thomas and Calais Campbell and everything behind him?
They don't need it.
Well,
that's the thing.
I would argue you could always. I mean, maybe they don't need it, right? Maybe it's not dire, but you could use one. You could always use another one.
You don't. No, because they've got Bilal Nichols, they got Justin Jones, they got Dante Stills, they got the kid from Tennessee they brought in as a UDFA. They've got Dalvin Thomas, they got Calais Campbell. They've got enough guys. Like, that's the beauty of this. The one thing that I've said forever, and I'm sorry that I'm saying it over and over again, but it's for some reason, like, it's still pertinent, is if this draft class didn't exist, this roster would be fine. So the fact that they're giving Walter Nolan some extra time, it doesn't affect this team negatively whatsoever. The ceiling may be a little bit lower, but he's not going to play 90% of the snaps anyways right out the gate. It's going to be a longer runway. Darius Robinson's family member passed away in the middle of the season last season, was elongated his recovery and everything. So it wasn't just his injury. These things happen. Ask Kevin Durant, ask Tyrese Halliburton, ask Jason Tatum what it's like with a calf when you rush it back. Yeah. Okay, so this is not something that the Cardinals are finally in a spot. And I understand the pushback because we're so used to it. The Cardinals are finally in a spot where they don't have to rush anybody back. Maybe they needed him right away, and maybe this is a different conversation. But right, is that like taking your time is what they should do here?
Yeah, and I think it just we said early on when this injury first happened, calves are tricky, man, and especially as a D lineman. If he's an O lineman, he may be able to get by, but just being able to anchor, being able to have the get off and play the game the way that we've seen him play in college, a calf can completely take you out of that element. So, I thought by this time he would be, at least ramping up to have a couple sprinkles in week 1. You just hope what I'm hoping is, like, you hope he doesn't become a soft tissue guy where there's just always like a thing, like because I feel like, and I know accidents happen within, injuries happen, but I feel like a lot of soft tissue stuff either comes from lack of training the proper way or like overdoing it too fast. So you hope he doesn't become that, but I kind of figured they would take their time. It's a calf injury and it can turn into a lot worse.
4 weeks. And that's at minimum another 4 weeks with him potentially. I'm not sure if it was official yet, but I know it was reported that the Cardinals by Gambadoro will end up putting him on IR. So if it's Gambo saying it, it's probably true. That's a minimum of 4 games designated to return. So defensive player of the year, you could probably throw that one out the window for Walter Nolan. Let's have a little bit of a debate discussion. Matthew Stafford's finally back at practice, but I think the Rams would have likely been all of our NFC West predictions for the winner this year. With that injury and the numerous ones going on in the 49ers land and the Seahawks that are just a mystery, can or will the Arizona Cardinals win the NFC West? Let's talk about that next. First, today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest ways to grab last minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite an even bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it all possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop as you get closer to first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guaranteed that takes the worrying out of buying tickets. I pretty much only ever exclusively use Game Time ever since I had heard about the app. For a while, I was using other ones, but the prices did seem to be a little high, especially with all the hidden fees. Game Time, there's an ability for you to just see exactly the all-in pricing. So whenever I'm going to a Diamondback game, and I've been to like 4 or 5 this year, I do exactly what they're telling me to say now without even knowing the ad. I'm waiting till closer to first pitch, and I'm buying those tickets, and me and my wife or me and a buddy are going to see the Diamondbacks for an incredibly low price and usually in the lower level. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today. Create an account and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Moving on to, I think, is definitely the meat of the show here. Can the Arizona Cardinals win the division? I think we would all agree with yes, they probably can win the division. But will they? Let's decipher this one and talk about it a little bit. Matthew Stafford, as of yesterday, has started to come back and play in practice. And, obviously no word on how he feels or anything about that stuff yet. But that injury at 37 years old, already a back injury. They're bringing chirotherapy chambers on the field to, immediately start rehabbing him. Does this change your guys' outlook? I mean, look at the Niners as well. Bunch of injuries. The Seahawks, a little bit of a question mark. Will the Arizona Cardinals win the division in 2025? The first one in a decade, potentially, Clancy.
No. I don't like if they had San Francisco's schedule, like San Francisco's playing NAIA schools this year. Like they've got the easiest schedule ever created in the history of man. The Cardinals have one of the easier schedules, but I would still say that the NFC West is going to be more incestuous than people think. They're going to beat each other up. I think 4 wins probably gets it done. If there were an NFC West tiebreaker, it's not going to be 5-1 or 6-0. I'm going with history on this. I'm going with Sean McVay on this. And I'm going with Kyle Shanahan on this as the 2 best coaches in the division. So no. That doesn't mean they're not going to make the playoffs. I still think they're going to win 10 games. Like, you could have 2 teams winning 11 games in the NFC West. Genuinely.
So you're taking them third? Just so
I would say either second or third, yeah. And we don't know with Seattle. You have no idea what the hell Sam Darnold is. Sam Darnold wasn't until he was. So I feel like that light's going to be off real quick in Seattle.
You're muted.
Your turn.
Dang. I was trying to go without that happening.
Listen.
Seattle's going to play hard. We know that.
Mhm.
That's just their MO. That's what they've always been. Let me talk about the Rams first, and then we'll get to the Cardinals. I'm not concerned about this Matt Stafford injury. I don't know what year this is. What is it, year 17? I don't know. It's a lot of years. He's in the teens, right? Got to be in the teens. What do we think?
Are you asking? Oh, I'm sorry. Say it one more time.
Are
you asking me to look it up?
No, I'm just asking. Do you guys know what year it is? You don't have to look it up.
Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
I was in the middle of looking it up.
Is it 17?
So he started in 2009. It is 2024. Someone do some quick math.
2025.
15. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you're right. Sorry. You're right.
All
It's
right.
2025.
Anyways, I know not to ask you guys number questions, but he is one of the guys that does not have to be on the field in training camp in order to be successful for the season. The system that he's been in has been the same system since they traded for him with Sean McVay there. And so it's almost as if like he's another coach out there. That's where he's at with the point. So I still expect the Rams to be great. I think I would take the Cardinals second though, because, and that's on paper. Like obviously we got to go out and we got to win games, right? We got to go win the tough games and stop the run, all those things that allow you to make it to the playoffs. But if you look at this roster and the guys that have been together, they should be able to be in that 2 spot and, some things shake out the 1 spot. Like, I feel like if they're anywhere outside of that 2nd spot, it's going to get a little sticky, something went wrong. So, and I would see that as like that's a down year in my opinion, just given where this roster's at, with John Gannon, the familiarity of of the play style and everything. They should be on the up and up, and be challenging the Rams for that spot.
But they play the NFC South and the AFC South. So, I mean, it's going to be the easier side of, like, could you, Ben, sorry to jump in, like, could you see 3 teams winning 10 games this year, I think is the question. Like, this is a year where there's a lot of transference of talent. There's some injuries already. Like, if you told me that San Francisco, the Rams, and the Cardinals all won 10 games and a game went down to tiebreakers, this is the year to do it because they're playing easier divisions in the sister divisions they play this year. I just don't, like, Ben, what do you think do you think they win the division?
I think the Cardinals fall ass backwards into being division winners because I think the Matthew Stafford injury is worse than you guys think it is.
Oh my God.
And here's why I say that. Last year, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, and then a couple of other people took it. Now it makes it seem like I'm stealing someone else's take, but it's true. Last year, it reeks of the Christian McCaffrey injury, where everyone kind of told us, oh, no, Christian's fine. It's just he's just taking time off. He'll be good. And then he ends up missing the opener, and then he ends up missing like 8 more games after that, and then the rest is history. He struggled with injuries all year long. He ended up going to Germany to get stem cell treatment on his Achilles,
which is normal.
Matthew Stafford,
that's normal.
Sure. No, people don't just fly to Germany in the middle of the season. That is
Kobe
not
Bryant
normal.
recovered from his Achilles injuries in like 10 minutes after going to Germany.
And no, I'm not saying that people don't go to Germany. What I'm saying is no, it is not normal in the middle of the season to fly to Germany. That is not normal to go get specific injury help while your team is trying to make a playoff push. But either way, like, we're not debating Christian McCaffrey here, which ultimately was worse than that when they were leading on. Matthew Stafford's injury, here's the thing that's a little concerning. If he was 32, 20, late 20s, early 30s, I would probably tend to agree with you guys. I'm like, whatever. He's a little sore. He doesn't want to practice. Who could blame him? In Detroit, he didn't practice Monday or Tuesdays, and he practiced the rest of the week, and then he was ready for the games. He hasn't played contact football in 7 months. And his back is already hurting enough to where they're keeping him out of practice. They try to throw him in practice, if I'm not mistaken. And then the next day, or it wasn't practice, he threw like 60 balls. And the next day, his back hurt a ton. So they kept him out another 2 weeks. So if his back is already hurting at 37 years old, and he hasn't played contact football in 6-7 months, we're just going to expect him to get more healthy. So I think it's worse than they're letting on. If with the caveat of this, if Matthew Stafford is healthy, there is no world where you could take the Cardinals to go over the Rams with that roster, that quarterback, and that coach. But because of that reasoning, I don't buy into the Niners maybe as much as you guys do.
I don't buy into the Niners. I think the Niners are going to have a tough year. I just don't know who are they going to throw. Who's going to be the guy that they?
Well, the other thing as well is like I see their schedule, and Clancy's absolutely right. I think they might win 8 or 9 games because their schedule is so crappy. And I've seen Kyle Shanahan win games with Nick Mullins
for sure.
But I don't think that they beat the Cardinals in either game. I don't think they beat the Rams in either games. They have Seattle week 1, and they're down. They're bringing Sky Moore to it. Bringing a plastic knife to a bazooka fight. I don't like that either. I think that they could win 8, 9 games, but I think the Cardinals are better. And I think if the Cardinals win the division this year, I think it's going to be 11 games. I think the opposite of Clancy. I don't think that there's going to be 3 teams that could potentially win 10 games. I think because of that Stafford injury, it's going to be like 11, 9, 8, and 9. And then I can't buy into Sam Darnold with the defensive-minded head coach until I see it again. Then I could change quickly.
Okay, so let's talk about Matthew Stafford for a second. First of all, they play the Cardinals twice. Okay, so that really has no bearing on what the Cardinals do this season. They play the Cardinals twice. Matthew Stafford is one of 31 other quarterbacks. They play their whole other schedule. So I understand that they're in the same division, but the actual that's not a hurdle that will keep the Cardinals from winning the division. The Cardinals winning and losing games will. They play the Rams twice in the last 4 weeks of the year. So if your theory is correct, you may be looking at Jimmy G at the end of the year. Okay, so that's one benefit of the Cardinals not playing the Rams until the latter part of the season. Lest we forget, though, Matthew Stafford was the one, I don't know if it was his rookie year, one of the first couple years in the league, where his arm fell off and he went and led a game-winning drive, okay? This isn't Aaron Rodgers. This isn't anybody who can't handle pain. This dude would throw left-handed before coming off the field. And lest we forget, he was injured when he brought back the Rams in one of the most miraculous almost wins in NFC playoff history against the Eagles. Okay, so this dude isn't a human being. Okay, you can't look at him like that. He's going to be on the field. Yeah, they went deep into the playoffs last year. He's 100 years old. He wants to chill with his wife and his family and not come to bleep and practice.
Yeah.
And Sean McVay's like, you know what, dude? I get it. Go rest your back. I'm sure he's not 100% healthy, but the fact that he's not practicing has zero bearing on him being ready to be ready for week 1 or not.
Yeah,
so
I don't think.
Caveat. Sorry, I don't.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the caveat to that is when Clancy said he might already be a little injured. Okay, he's already a little injured. He hasn't played contact football.
So is everyone else. Everyone else. Everyone else is
Kyler's healthy,
well.
But Kyler's healthy right now. That's my point. I'm saying
Kyler did not play until January.
Kyler hasn't missed practices. Is what I'm saying.
Kyler has not played until January. Multiple.
Patrick Mahomes is healthy right now. He played in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts played in the Super Bowl. They both played longer. My point is he's already injured and he's 37. I get what Clancy's saying. I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm saying I think the dude will play hurt. But listen, man, from someone who's got a bad back, and again, I'm 27 and I'm not a professional football player. That stuff eats at you, and I can only imagine how much tougher it is at 37 being hit by 300-pound linemen. I'm just guesstimating. And my point is this. The Cardinals are only winning this division if Stafford misses a significant amount of time, and I think it's potentially worse than they're leading on. But maybe that's me overreacting, which, listen, I've done that before. Jamil?
That's not, but again, this is a segment about will the Cardinals win the division? I don't think it has to do with Matthew Stafford's health or not is the only thing. You're making it seem like, well, Matthew Stafford's healthy, they won't. If he is, they will. Or if he isn't, they will. If he is, they won't. You put the Cardinals roster against the Rams roster 1-53. I'm taking the Cardinals roster. It's not about talent. It's not about talent. The best, listen. So the best offensive skill position player out of all of them, not a quarterback, I take Trey McBride over Puka Nacua. It's close. Okay. I take Devontae Adams, obviously, over any other wide receiver that the Cardinals have. Kyren Williams, I would put Kyren Williams with James Conner. If you swap teams, James Conner's Kyren Williams. Okay. It's a different, it's different. So say that's close. Say that's split. I'm giving the offensive line to the Cardinals. Okay. It's close, but I'm giving the offensive line to the Cardinals. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And y'all You don't think?
I'm not gonna laugh because I don't think it's a laughable take, but I think I would take.
No,
the
I'm
Rams
not laughing at the
line.
take. I'm not. I'm just.
You're just laughing. That's what I mean. That's what I mean by that. I think
is
I
that
take the
crazy?
Rams.
I love where you're going. Just. I was just like, I was shocked because when you said offensive line, I thought you were gonna go.
No, like the Cardinals' offensive line is a solid B with A- potential if everything works. Like the Rams have had issues with the offensive line, hence Matthew Stafford's back injury. Okay, defense is where it gets trickier because they've got more established young dudes, Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, who came in right away and just produced. But they're pretty much a faceless defense.
All right, let me ask you this: with the roster, now go coaching.
Yeah, and that's it. That's
and
why
then quarterback.
Talent-wise on the roster,
coaching and quarterback.
That's why I said talent-wise on the roster, I would take the Cardinals, even comparing Kyler Murray and Matthew Stafford. Like, I think it's closer than people think, but Sean McVay is just a wizard, and he's always done more with less. So that's it. But I mean, I think it'll be closer than people think. I don't want to go, but I just said I don't think the Cardinals are going to win the division.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was like outlandish. I think the Rams are a little bit better and a little bit more proven, especially from last year. But however, I want to change it to this really quickly because we're running out of time. But I want to say this: the Seahawks, for some reason, have become this like sexy, trendy pick. Like I saw, Colin Cowherd pick them to win the NFC West. But I've seen like guys like Dan Orlovsky come out and be like, "Watch out for the Seahawks." We talked about the Niners. We talked about the Rams. Any world where the Seahawks win this division, Clancy, Jamil,
the best part
are you guys
about
buying into Sam Darnold?
The best part about the Seahawks is that they have so much unknown around them right now. We don't know what Sam Darnold we're gonna get. If we get Sam Darnold from the majority of the season with Minnesota, the Seahawks are going to be in the conversation and they're going to be a problem. But we don't know if that was just a Kevin O'Connell job or if that was Sam Darnold really revamping his career on some like Baker Mayfield type of deal. So the Seahawks, the best thing they have going for them is like there's a lot of mysteriousness around what is Seattle going to be, and we're going to find out sooner or later. But that's why you get these guys that are picking them, because it's mysterious right now.
Yeah, and Cowherd's from the Pacific Northwest. Okay, so obviously he's going to pick Seattle. He's loved Sam Darnold since he was at USC. He's always been a Sam Darnold guy. I love Cowherd. He's one of my favorites. And he loves him. He loves Sean Payton, and that's all he talks about. Okay, so like let's call the spade a spade there with that. What you know about Seattle is they got Leonard Williams, they got Byron Murphy, they got Q Diggs, and they got a good run game. That's what you know. Okay, what you don't know is, and also coupled with, what they don't know either, because they gave Sam Darnold a 1-year, $30 million deal. Okay? They didn't give him a 5-year deal. They don't know what Sam Darnold is either. But the head coach is a good one. They just changed their OC. Tyler Lockett's gone. DK Metcalf's gone. You're right. The mysterious nature of the Seahawks they have in their favor, they're like the Steelers. They win 10 games. You don't really know why. You don't really know how. They just do. Or they win 9 games, whatever it is. So you would expect the same from them this year. And hopefully the Cardinals can put together a better showing against them.
Yeah.
It is it's just something you have to mention, man, because I was ready to bury them last year and they freaking won 10 games. You want to talk about Jonathan Gannon being awesome. Mike McDonald was having every quarterback when he was the defensive coordinator for the Ravens seeing ghosts, if we're talking about Sam Darnold here. Let's move on. There was a ESPN article that also had the power rankings for the Cardinals. I'm not super focused on that, but they also talked about who has the most pressure on the Arizona Cardinals this year, one singular person. I think the answer that ESPN gives from Josh Weinfuss himself will surprise you a bit, and we'll talk about that next.
This episode of the Cardinal Squad Show is brought to you by Yahoo Fantasy. I don't even have to do the live read. I love this thing so much. I already know it by heart. Football's around the corner, man. Like legitimately a couple weeks away. If you don't have your fantasy football, group chats popping, if you don't have drafts already done or you're drafting this week, what are you doing with your life? You got to be doing it on the Yahoo Fantasy app. I actually just joined a 3rd league. I was texting my buddy Jason Moore, name drop there, asking him because I got the number 1 overall pick in my big money league, and all 3, no joke, are on the Yahoo Fantasy app. So if you like the private, head to head, they've still got it. They've got public leagues, but they've got this new format that they're rolling out called the Guillotine League, where if you score the least amount of points in week 1, you're out of the league. It's not year long, it's week long, and it throws a whole wrench into what we know with fantasy football. Like, I've been doing it for 20 plus years. I've never heard anything like this. It sounds so fun, so cutthroat. You can do it at Yahoo Fantasy. So download the app and sign up for Yahoo Fantasy now at yahoofantasy.com/lockedonnfl. That's yahoofantasy.com/lockedonnfl.
Because I thought that segment, I thought I was telling you guys in the private chat, like, I thought that was full of chalk good knowledge, just good knowledge. However, I got to bring up this from Terry. Jamil says, Jamil keeps looking like Garcia is giving him a headache. Jamil, can you answer Terry?
What was Terry?
So
yeah.
just like,
what did you say that I just thought
it was about Stafford missing practice? And
my goodness, dude.
Like, here's the thing, Jamil, like, before you answer, this is something that you'll learn, which is great. And this is a teaching moment in front of a lot of people. Okay. You'll learn to have more of a poker face when people piss you off.
Dude.
It's a beautiful thing that comes with time. I'm smiling this whole time. You have no idea what I'm thinking.
The worst part was he compared his own back to Matt Stafford's back. And I'm like, he probably can't even touch his toes, bro.
Hey.
Like, you probably can't touch your toes.
I can't.
Exactly. So
can't
get out of here. Don't talk about your back.
I'm not going to get. Clancy's made it very clear. People do not care about my personal history, so I won't get into that. But mine is no joke.
History.
I've had back problems before, so I know what Matt Stafford's doing.
All right, that's it. You know what the best part about this show is? I can remove people, and it's just the Ben and Clancy show.
Hey, man.
All right, let's keep the show rolling. Listen, man, I think I'm just addicted to being the butt of all jokes. ESPN released their power rankings article yesterday. For some reason, it just went away from me from there for a second, so I'll have to pull it back up. But they listed the Arizona Cardinals at number 22 in the entire NFL right now, their preseason power rankings. But what was more interesting about it was that they also named the person on each team that has the most to prove this year. And the Arizona Cardinals came in at number 22, but they also listed Monti Ossenfort as the person with the most to prove, given the fact that he has rebuilt this team over the last couple of years. His draft picks need to start to hit. I couldn't grab the article and get the direct quote, which I'll grab in just a second here. But Clancy, does Monti Ossenfort have the most to prove in 2025?
No, of course not. I love Josh too. Josh is a buddy of mine. I vehemently disagree with this. Like, here's the thing. All he's done is come in, and Ben, I don't know if you've heard me say this. This is like the fifth smart thing this month. I'm way out of quota. We already talked about this. For those that haven't watched, like, you have a friend growing up that would come over, play with your toys, and leave without helping you clean up. That's what Steve Keim did for this organization with Monti Ossenfort. It was apocalyptic what Monti Ossenfort had to take over. Okay. With an owner who didn't want to relinquish control, had no idea how to win, and realized how he had his pants down, letting Steve Keim stay here for so long. Okay, what Monti Ossenfort has done is wizard-like. But it gets to a point where the players have to play. The players have to produce. Like, everything he's done was check all of the boxes. A new GM with the history that he had, winning multiple rings in New England, being an ancillary piece, etc., has done. He's hit all the spots. They just got to play, and they got to produce. Like Paris Johnson Jr., Marv, Darius Robinson, BJ Ojolari, Will Johnson, Michael Wilson. Like, he's done his part, and the players just got to produce.
Yeah.
So just to before you go, that last part that you had said he had done his part. One of the things, and I have it up here, is from Josh Weinfuss, entering his third season with the Cardinals, Ossenfort completed his 3-year roster rebuild of the roster. Now it's time for that roster to win. He rebuilt the defense. He rebuilt the defensive front, but hardly touched the offense, a move that could be risky. If the defense doesn't live up to expectations, the offense has holes that he could have addressed. Ossenfort's seat could start warming up. So to Clancy, your point, you're basically saying like he's done all the things in Josh's piece, and it's just a quick paragraph.
Yeah.
Maybe he hasn't done enough if these things don't work out. That's kind of the point he's trying to make.
Okay. And I will maybe take, I don't know if you wanted to say this or not, obviously never putting anything close to anybody's words. That's a Kyler Murray thing. This offense is good enough. They didn't need to add more pieces. Either Kyler Murray's going to do it or he won't.
Yeah.
Like what? You're going to take a second rounder and draft Jalen Noel or draft another wide receiver or something and just not touch the cornerback room, whatever it is. I do think with Monti Ossenfort, and sorry, I'm going long here. Like, okay. I think the draft theory shifted when Will Johnson was there at 47. That changed everything. It's like, okay, well, then let's just go full bore on defense. If he wasn't there, I feel like there could have been more offensive pieces added. That's a Kyler thing. This offense is well equipped to win if Kyler can do it.
Yeah, I feel like this is the most backhanded compliment that a GM could ever get just based on this paragraph. It's basically telling me that he's done a great job building the roster, and if they can't win, what's next? Like, when you look at the Cardinals on paper, the Cardinals should be in the conversation in the NFC. And so it is, who's under the most pressure? Like, we've all heard the saying, pressure is a privilege. And Monti Ossenfort has turned around this roster and has made the proper signings to have a good team, man. And so he's under the most pressure, but not from a standpoint, like, I don't think he'll get fired if they don't pan out. But I do think that it would be a disappointment to the Cardinals if they can't find a way to squeak in the playoffs this year.
I really like Josh, and I think he does good work. I am surprised, knowing him and talking to him before, that he picked Monti Ossenfort in this instance. I don't even believe, we can get into who has the most pressure, but we've talked about this before. Could Monty or could JG lose their jobs? Pretty much everyone here says no, unless the team wins 2 games this year, which is just not happening because we know the competency of this team. However, do you guys want to pick who's under the most pressure this year? And is it Kyler Murray, Jamil?
Yes.
What does pressure look like for Kyler? Does that mean he's not on the team next year? Is that the pressure you're referring to?
I believe so. I believe pressure looks like this for Kyler Murray. I believe that Kyler Murray has to have within his mind, I cannot screw this up. Like, he has to be the guy that is the game manager. He cannot turn the ball over. Obviously we know turnovers are going to happen, but at a rapid pace, we can't see, he can't end the year with 15 picks. Like it'll just be catastrophic. He just has to turn into a game manager, man. And I think I'm unsure how it will work out if he's not able to get this roster into the playoff conversation.
Yeah. I mean, this is one where I wonder if Josh had the opportunity to say nobody, he could say nobody. But if it's forcing the issue where you have to answer for the sake of exercise, I still wouldn't pick Monty, but I could understand where you had to pick somebody. Like, this isn't him tweeting out, oh, Monty's under pressure. It's like, no, this is part of the ESPN exercise. Now, with all that said, Kyler Murray, to piggyback on what Jamil said, it's wins. Nothing else matters. Doesn't matter how it happens. It doesn't matter if he has the statistical worst year of his career. If they win more games than they lose and they get into the playoffs, that's it. Like, if they win a playoff game, we're talking contract extension. That's why they've run it back. They don't need anything else. They may need another quarterback, but they won't know until the end of this season. For me, and this, I don't think this should be like, I've talked to friends about this. I'm like, I don't understand why the pushback. If I had to pick to keep one between Monty, JG, and Kyler after this season, and it goes haywire, I'm taking Monty. Like, get JG out, get Kyler out. Monty also has proven he can do what's necessary to turn around an organization and spend pennies on the dollar, comparatively speaking, to what other people do to build that roster out. Like, do you understand? Trey McBride, $40 million total guarantee over 4 years. Josh Sweat, Dalvin Tomlinson, that's like under 60 combined. Buda Baker, James Conner, pennies on the dollar compared to what the open market potentially could have given him. Like, it's been a body of work, and it just has to work. And if it doesn't work, look at the quarterback. Like, that's kind of how football works.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Yeah, it feels like our one of the guys is commenting here. His name's Josh. I feel like it's Kyler and Petzing first because this offense is a rookie quarterback's best friend. So I think Kyler is first, and Petzing with Steichen being available. This is kind of like half of my thought process here. I think not Kyler, but I believe Shane Steichen potentially being available next year. I think Drew Petzing has the most pressure this year because I'm just operating off the idea that they're not moving on from Kyler next year. I think it would have to be catastrophic. But if they just miss the playoffs and Kyler is just okay, I think they're going to serve you Drew Petzing's head on a platter, knowing that Shane Steichen might be someone they can bring into the realm and sell to you, well, who revived Jalen Hurts' career? Who, not revived, but who made Jalen Hurts look like a MVP caliber quarterback? We'll just bring him in and he'll fix Kyler. I think Petzing has the most to prove this year because if they're going to move off of someone, I don't think it's JG. I don't think it's Monty. I don't think it's Kyler because of the enormous cap hit. And also, who are you going to do better than? Because we don't think this team is going to be picking in the top 10. I think Petzing is going to be the guy that is going to get the axe if this season doesn't run out. You know, Clancy, it's so interesting that you say that. Like, we're either talking, new quarterback or contract extension. It's insane that the best possible outcome when the season's over is we're talking about a Kyler Murray contract extension. Because right now I can't fathom wanting to extend him longer than we are.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's got a $60 million dead cap hit in 2026. Like, there's two rational ways to look at it, and then one kind of weird middle ground, irrational way to look at it. One, it's good, extend. Two, it's bad, get rid of. Three, it's okay, restructure, and then bolster the hell out of the lineup more. Maybe you add on one more, 2 more years or something. You knock down that dead cap hit, and you do what you do with the salary cap. But it's going to be good or it's going to be ugly. I don't think it's going to be one or the other. Like, this team is so polarizing. Like, Jamil, listen, when you went into 2019, was that the year with Tennessee where you're the 1 seed? I can't remember. 2019? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So going into that year, the roster, obviously we joke about it, but like that was a C+ roster. Okay. Yeah. With a Hall of Famer, a good offensive line, and a quarterback who could win you more games than you lose, maybe by a hair.
For sure.
And then you're the 1 seed. You do things right. It's not things bounce the right way. It's that things are prepared in an effort to get there. Yeah. The Cardinals have that, like,
they've got a better roster than we had.
Yeah. Well, they've got the non-tangible stuff too. You've got a good coach. You've got a good metronome. You've got stability. There is no reason why we're talking ugly at the end of the year. And if there is, Kyler's gone. Like, that's it. Like, it's got to just be that's the reason why.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I don't know if another coordinator is what Kyler needs. Like, there is not, like, there. I don't know.
Like, I don't want to cut you off, but like, I agree with you. What I'm saying is I think that's what the Cardinals are going to try to sell you next year. Oh, it was the coordinator. We got a new one in here. He's going to figure it out, but I'm sorry.
They would have done it this year, I think. If it was going to happen, it would have happened this year.
I just don't think that's the move. Like, I mean, now you got to learn a whole new system, and you have to be efficient within that system. And I just don't think that that's the answer. I think if this year doesn't go squeaking into the playoffs, I think Kyler Murray is somewhere else next season. So, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I just think that's the reality of the situation. They've given him every chance. They've given him every chance. And I don't even think that he can walk away and be like, I didn't get a chance to do this. So it would just be like a shake hands. We're moving on. We got to figure out what's next for us.
Right. Think of it like this, Ben, before we move. Sorry, I know we're going long. Think of it as like a relationship that's been going on for 6 years or whatever. You're like, let's go on vacation for 2 months, and and then at the end of it, we'll see. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be amicable one way or the other, but we're going to know 100%. And this isn't every situation. This is this situation. We're going to know one way or the other if Kyler Murray is the quarterback for the Cardinals in 2026 or not, and it should be very, very clear one way or the other.
Before we go to the next segment, I saw this comment. Jamil may be living in the past. Chiefs, Bears, Steelers, Browns, Broncos, and Saints to play starters in preseason week 3. The Saints don't know what their year is going to look like. There's a reason they're playing. The Bears have a new head coach. The Steelers, that's Mike Tomlin's MO. The Chiefs, that's Mike Tomlin's MO. The Browns. So I'm not living in the past. I'm just stating that the Cardinals, with the roster and the coaching staff and everything they have around them, should not play the starters. They should be getting ready for week 1, the Walker.
Get him.
Moving on. Yeah, no, let's hold him on a leash.
I know ball now. Come on now. I know ball.
You're literally the personator that's most qualified to talk about ball. But we appreciate all of our listeners. That's what the discourse is here for. But sometimes, listen, as I get it 3-4 times during the show, the listeners might catch a stray. Let's finish up the show with this. Trey Hendrickson is being made available for trade. Right now, the Cincinnati Bengals, it seems like they're playing ball with what they want back in a deal, but reports are kind of mixed. Trey Hendrickson on the market, a final chance for the Cardinals to make a play. Should they? Let's have that discussion once again. Coming up next. Look, Jamil, they really do love to see you on this pod. I don't know who X is, and he's got the weirdest profile picture.
It's me.
She. Is that you?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay,
it's not me. I'm not even in the chat, dude. I don't even know how to do all that. I don't know. I just read it.
Stop it. You're not that old. God, stop.
Listen,
you like to play the old card with us, and Clancy's.
My hands are right here. I'm not typing anything. So,
all right, wrapping up the show. I'll start with Clancy here because I know what he's going to say. Trey Hendrickson being made available, I believe, for the first time now. As Clancy just entered the studio twice. What do we got here?
He's frozen.
Oh my goodness, Clancy was just frozen there.
I thought you were just smiling like that the whole time.
That was so wild.
I didn't know you were
Clancy,
frozen.
that was so wild. I had no idea you were frozen there. Anyways, going over to Clancy because he didn't hear me. Trey Hendrickson is now available. It's the Cardinals' last chance to make that big blue chip. Explain one more time before the season begins why no.
It doesn't fiscally make sense at this point. It doesn't like talent wise. Sure. Yeah, of course. Like I get it. But we're so close to the start of real football, and say the defense doesn't have enough, look around the NFL and look at the depth of other teams. The Cardinals are fine. They don't need it. It'd be a nice to have, not a need to have. And he wants all of King Midas's gold, man. And he's not young. I'd rather look at the free agent crop next offseason and then go do it a little bit more organically. Or say the Cardinals are, I don't know, they're 5 games above 500 going into the trade deadline, and the Bengals are giving up 97 points per game. Maybe you have a conversation then where you trade him, you give him a 3-year deal or something, a Monti Ossenfort special that they can sign off on or whatever it is. Or if you trade a 5th-round pick for him and you just hope that he resigns, it may be worth it. But now, no, you got your boys. You're ready to rip. Where would he they have so much talent, dude. This is the real, Monti Ossenfort's been a wizard. They don't need him.
Yeah. It'd be a luxury at this point. It'd be a splash signing that obviously elevates you. But again, the roster at this point, they've got everyone they need. I can't for the life of me figure out why the Bengals will not give this guy his money. The Bengals defense has been
statistically 32nd in the league when Trey Hendrickson is not on the field.
Last. So why would you not pay this guy? He's done everything. He's been a guy for you. He's been a locker room guy for you. He's been a leader. It just doesn't make sense to me. But someone's if the Bengals don't pay him, look, the guy is a bona fide player in the NFL. So someone's going to get someone that is going to make their defense better. But I just can't figure out why the Bengals won't do it.
I just don't think they're a Trey Hendrickson away. I don't think they're one player. They drafted Shamar Stewart, who's finally there. So you put him and Trey Hendrickson. Is that enough to make you competitive?
Well,
You're always
I'd
a player away with Joe Burrow. You're always a player away with Joe.
I'd say they're further away without him than they are with him.
Well, they gave T. Higgins and Jamar Chase all his money. That's not how you build a roster. So that's why they've made their bed.
Well, look at the way they've structured their money too. They're an incredibly cheap organization. I mean, I would say probably the cheapest in the NFL, with the Cardinals not far behind them, or I guess I should say in front of them. However, look at the Eagles: Devonta Smith, AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts. Those three guys make less money this year in terms of the salary cap, what is actually seen on the spreadsheet, than Joe Burrow's cap hit. Like, they're just awful with the salary cap as well. They don't know how to pay guys. They don't like to pay guys, and they don't want to learn how to pay guys.
Yeah.
The Cardinals, like, I got to side with Clancy here on this one. Like, he had mentioned weeks ago, the Cardinals defensive line is fine. They don't need him. And to an extent, I agreed with it. But at this point, like, I like what I've seen in the preseason. I like to see like guys like Jordan Birch moving dudes around. What I will say, and I'll continue to harp on this, is I like the idea really quickly of Clancy saying, what about if the Cardinals are 6-2, 5-1 going into the trade deadline? Maybe then you make the move. And I think that's actually might even be the big 1,000 galaxy size brain to what the Cardinals could do. But I just feel better about what they have. If you want to go all in, my argument will continue to be, you don't actually know when your time is to compete for a Super Bowl. And I would argue this year might be the Cardinals' year. You guys might not believe in Stafford's injury. I think it's worse than they say. But also, in the NFC, the quarterbacks ain't that good, and the depth of it ain't that good. So you're a fumble away or one playoff win away from potentially being a Super Bowl team or a conference championship team. And at that point, you want to be loaded as much as you can be at every position. And I believe the Lions and the Commanders would have done that over the past 2 seasons, but they didn't know their time was to compete was then. However, with all that being said, I do feel really good about what the Cardinals have, Clancy. And I think it is a good take from a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and if Trey Hendrickson does play or doesn't play, whatever, you're going to get him for pennies on the dollar by the trade deadline. They're going to need something. So, I mean, listen, going all in, quote unquote, is one of the bigger, like, not lazy, but like undefinable things for the Cardinals. This is going all in, but it's going all in methodically with a safety net. It's going all in, not torching the future. The Cardinals have spent the majority of their money. They've got all their draft picks. They got all their money. Going all in could be a 5-year thing and not just 1 year. It is so hard to win football games in the NFL. Say you go all in. Say what the 49ers did. They traded 3 first-round picks or whatever, 2, and then the one that year for Trey Lance. It didn't work. They got they lucked out with Brock Purdy. If the Brock Purdy didn't happen, they'd be in a way worse spot. Like, it's going all in doesn't translate into Super Bowl wins. Like, going all in and then going deep in a playoff run, does that mean it's worth it? You start back from square one the next year. Like, this is the methodical approach of a guy who knows what the hell he's doing in Monti Ossenfort, and this is the year where we're going to find out as is. And I don't think messing with that is.
What would you give up? What would I
give up?
Like right now, like if they're like, let's say, and I do believe this is the case, that because they waited so long, because teams don't have the money to pay him technically right now, or a lot of teams don't. If the price became discounted, what would be the highest you would go for Trey Hendrickson right now?
B.J. Ojulari in a third.
Just so we're clear, I don't think that is absolutely nuclear crazy. I think it's a little low, but they've waited a really long time, man.
Well,
they've made
but it's about the money. It's not about what they're giving up. They can give up whatever they want.
Really good point too.
Yeah,
it's about the money. And he's 30. He'll be 31. Like, it doesn't have to be everybody, you know. And next year is going to be a crop of people who will want to come play here because of what the Cardinals you think will do this year.
For sure. I agree. I have nothing more. I have nothing more to add to that. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm just being real. I just don't.
Do you think he gets traded? Just out of curiosity, you think he gets traded?
I think he gets traded. Yeah. Because I don't feel like the Bengals are committed to their defense. So that's the only reason I think he gets traded. And I think if he gets traded and he goes to, I know for a fact he's going to elevate a defense. So. Yeah. I mean,
you ever play against Trey?
I feel like I have.
fact that you don't remember it is a little concerning, and now I'm debating whether the Cardinals should actually go after.
So listen, Ben, there's one thing that like a mind shift. I know we got a jet here in a sec. This is a mind shift that has happened over the last 2 seasons with the Arizona Cardinals. I call it passive income. Okay. The Cardinals haven't put a good product on the field to make free agents want to come play here. Okay. They've always had to overpay guys. They've always had to trade for guys. This is the passive income year. Okay. Look at what happened with Josh Sweat, Dalvin Tomlinson, Calais Campbell. They could have gone to 31 other teams and they would have had him. If the Cardinals take that level up next year, you're going to be in a situation where players are not only going to want to come play here, they'll take less to play here. And that's where you make that money. The Kansas City Chiefs, the New England Patriots, the Eagles, that's the year where you can really make that Super Bowl leap for the next couple seasons. You don't have to trade for anybody right now. If things go to plan, it'll come to them next offseason and maybe paying 80% of what they would have had to pay if they had to pay somebody to come here because it was more money than they would have got somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
There you have it. The best Arizona Cardinal show in the land. Maybe, I don't know. Clancy, am I allowed to say that? Because you have another Cardinal show.
What do you mean I have another Cardinal show?
He likes this one more.
Cardinals.
He likes
you like this one more? All right, cool. You like this one more?
Well, I like 2 out of 3. I'm happy with 2 out of 3 here. You guys can fight over who that is.
You know exactly who it is.
I don't know.
Me.
You guys can talk it out.
It's not Jamil.
It's not
you guys can talk it out. I only go high pitch when I mean it. No, I'm just playing. No, this is good. This is good. It's a nice compliment to my yeah, it's good.
Thank you for bringing the Locked On Cardinals Squad show, your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Locked On NFL Scouting show as training camps come to a close and the season starts to really get into moving. Host Kyle Krabs and Joe Marino will make you the most informed NFL fan this offseason. Find Locked On NFL Scouting on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. Before you go, reminder, we're live after every game. I'm going to be in Prescott. Just finished drafting my fantasy football team. I'll have a webcam and one of my microphones, and we're still going to talk about the Cardinals playing a Raiders game, and we're going to dissect why Clayton Tune absolutely sucks at the quarterback position.
He's going to drop a 40 burger on the Rams, on the Raiders. Be like, huh, QB2?
Yeah, right.
Jamil was making fun of me.
Hey, Ben, make sure you get some icy hot for that back, man.
That's good.
What if I told you I had an ice pack on right now?
I believe you. Yes, I would believe you.
You guys don't even know me. By the way, we're going to end the show here, but just so we're clear, for everyone that was like, oh, Clancy, you guys can fight of who I like more. These guys were making plans to hang out, didn't think I could hear them, and they did it to just those two. I wasn't invited. So with that being said, there's no talking after this. I heard it.
I had nothing to say.
Okay, you guys can go hang out. I'll go do something else.
You live in Nevada.
Yeah. For Jamil,
Bro, you don't even live in Arizona, dude.
That's what. Okay, you know what? It has been the Locked On Cardinals Squad show for Jamil, Clancy, who are being jerks right now and not inviting me to things, and Terry in the chat, Classy, Chill Peasy, X, all of them. We appreciate you guys making the Cardinals Squad show your first listen, and we will talk to you guys on Saturday after the first preseason game. See you guys then.
Good. Fork 'em.